Hey everybody, it's Mark, DoctorDeadwax, and it's time for Retracing the Groove 1. Retracing the Groove? What the hell's he on about now? Well, Retracing the Groove is the name of a new series that I'm going to start here, where I talk about the records that I've been playing that are already in my collection, not things that I've just bought or things that have just come out of the inbox, but things that I've had maybe for a couple months, maybe for a couple of years. And maybe since I was in high school, but things that are in my collection that I've been pulling out and listening to. You know, I buy a lot of new, to me, records, used records, but I buy a lot of records, and I've always felt that if I'm going to buy records, I got to listen to them, because I have friends who buy records who don't, and I don't want to be like that. So I've always worked really hard at listening to records from my inbox, as you know. And I've always fallen massively behind continuously, as we all know, but I try. And part of that focus has meant that I've had a rule for myself that I can't listen to records from my collection that often, because it just keeps me from listening to things I'm buying. So, you know, maybe one out of every 20 or 25 records that I listen to is a record from my collection. And after the inbox challenge was over, the thought of cleaning another record, that got so grindy this year that the thought of cleaning another record was just too much. So I've been listening to records from my collection ever since, and I've been having a great time. And so I'm going to start doing that more, trying to buy less records, even though I bought like 40 records yesterday. And so basically half an inbox, or half a bin. And listen to more records from my collection, talk about them more, and try and maybe take a sabbatical from buying. And that's just never going to happen, is it? So anyway, that's what this is, a series where I'm going to talk about records from my collection. Nothing here will be out of the inbox. Everything will be stuff that I've had for a long time and give you some thoughts and stuff on it. And it will be sponsored by Wolaver's Oatmeal Stout, the organic U.S. beer that's good for you. Or so I tell my wife. Cheers, everybody. So I'm going to keep these to 10 minutes. This one I'm going to run a little longer because it's the first one. So I got this about a year and a half ago. Well, longer than that, but I finally got it out of the inbox about a year ago. Belle and Sebastian, the Boy with the Arab Strap. This is like a later reissue on 180 grams. Gatefold, whole deal. And this is supposedly the best sounding pressing of this record. I got this used for 12 bucks. This is supposedly the best sounding pressing of this record I found out. I just bought it because we love Belle and Sebastian, my wife and I. And have for years. And everything we had was digital before that. Vinyl rips of UK pressings. This is a US pressing on Matador, Matador Jeepster. I don't even care if stuff focuses for this. And it sounds great. Like it's not perfect pressing, but it's a good pressing, and the music's just so much fun. The one I really love on this record, and Belle and Sebastian are great because they have a bunch of people in the band who write songs and sing, and some of them have even left over the years, but A Space Boy Dream is just kind of this talky story piece about this guy who dreams about going to Mars or something. I just love that. It's fun, and he's got that really thick Scottish accent, so it's a good piece. And Belle and Sebastian are, you know, we've talked before about bands that you weren't into that you subsequently are into, and you know, when I did Roger Coleman's contest, I think that's what his contest was. Used to love it, now you hate it. God, did I hate Belle and Sebastian when my wife first brought home the Dear Catastrophe Waitress CD. I thought, oh, this is just the most pretentious crap. But over the years, I really grew into them, and I love them now. You know, I want to get everything of theirs on vinyl. Just got a second one, Storytelling, which everybody says isn't any good. That's one I actually haven't heard. It's probably the only one of theirs I haven't heard. So I can recommend this though. The Boy with the Arab Strap is my wife's favorite, probably my second or third favorite. So check it out. And look for that 180 gram, and you can weigh it if you know, it's one way to tell. Bring a scale with you to the store. Next is the S album. This is, I believe, my pressing from high school. Nice, clean condition. It's a good listen. It's Canadian mid to late 70s pressing because it doesn't have the barcode on the standard Atlantic label. It has TLC-T in the Deadwax, which stands for the lacquer channel, which we're out of Toronto. The T does not stand for Toronto. It stands for the lathe name. This is a good record. This is, in my opinion, maybe Yes's second best record. Maybe. It's close to the edge is the best, in my opinion. This is close to second best. The other thing that I don't like about this record is between Years Is No Disgrace and Starship Trooper is, I mean, this was Steve Howe's first record with the band, but somehow he got a 3-minute acoustic guitar solo called The Clap, which is great, don't get me wrong. He's a great player and the clap is great, but it kind of busts the record up. A lot of people like Fragile. I actually don't like Fragile at all because one, Roundabout's on it, and it's the only song by Yes that's played to death. And two, it's got too much of those solo pieces. So you've got some good songs on the record, and then you've got, you know, the solo piece from Howe and the solo piece from Wakeman and the solo piece from Anderson. So it's too disjointed. It's not a group effort, and this would be perfect if it wasn't for that one piece. So, but I can recommend that record highly. Next is Steve Miller Band, number 5. Number 5 is the 5th of the good Steve Miller records. If you like Steve Miller and you know him for like Fly Like an Eagle and all that stuff that's off the Steve Miller Band's greatest hits, take an adventure back into his first 5 records in this catalog. This is a capital lime green purple target with the black center, first pressing, and this is a great record, and all of his first 5 records are great. They're nothing like the stuff that's on the greatest hits. So if you're over Steve Miller like I am, I mean, I loved Steve Miller's greatest hits for years, but I just don't want to hear it anymore. Radio, that period of Steve Miller is something else that radio's killed for me. But I just discovered the first 5 records in probably like 4 years ago, and blown away by them. They're fun, they're edgy, they're eclectic, they're psychedelic, they're sometimes a little rough, they're not overly polished, they have really interesting cuts and edits and mixes and jumps in them, and they're a real kind of product of that psychedelic period of the 60s when they were recorded. So the first 5 records for Steve Miller I gotta recommend really highly. This is like a terribly noisy copy, so one of the goals for, I think, this year is going to be to upgrade the first 5 Steve Miller albums I have to like really good original pressings that are like VG plus to near mint and are actually listenable and more enjoyable because of that. I mean, that works, but it works better when it's on and I'm in another room, and I don't really listen to music that way. I tend to listen to music critically, where I sit and just listen to music, and that's what I do. How about the Jody Grind? Horace Silver Quintet and Sextet. One side of the record, half the songs have an extra player in them. And this is kind of like this looks. It's Horace Silver's hard bop style. This is a Blue Note Liberty, and this should be a Blue Note New York to be a first pressing, and I know that because I have this book that Blake sent me. That's amazing. So if you're into Blue Note or want to know anything about Blue Note and how to identify pressings, this is the book to get, and it's fucking expensive. But it's actually really good. So even though it's stupid priced, I can recommend it. So this record is kind of like hard bop and this kind of swinging 60s sound mixed. And Horace Silver did a lot of records, and I love Horace Silver. You know, this isn't an essential one, but it's good. You know, it's not one of his weaker ones. Let's just put it that way. We're at 10 minutes. Here's another Blue Note. Crazy Baby, the incredible Jimmy Smith. This is a New York. Now, you see how it says micro groove? Micro groove means they're mono. If they say stereo, they're stereo. So that's a New York. That should be a New York West 63rd to be a first. And again, how do I know that? I know that because of this awesome book that Blake gave me. And this is just a solid B from Jimmy Smith. The man has 100 albums out. You know, I think maybe the best thing about this record is the cover, or the stunning looking woman in that fantastic outfit. But the cover of this has When Johnny Comes Marching Home, which is like When the Saints Go Marching Home, Making Whoopee, A Night in Tunisia, which is good. It's not my favorite night in Tunisia. My favorite night in Tunisia is Hugh Masekela's off I Am Not Afraid. Sunny Moon for Two, Mac the Knife, What's New, and Alfredo. So it's good. I mean, it's one of his stronger records, but it's not super strong. So, you know, and this is Jethro Tull's A Passion Play. This is a Canadian mid-70s, mid to late 70s pressing. No barcode, but it's got the blue chrysalis. It sounds I pulled this out because this was this record that Bobby Z picked for my January contest. He got a US white label promo pressing, which was banded for radio airplay. So it doesn't even have a picture on the cover. It's just a white cover. And it's got, because it's just one song on both sides, so it's banded, meaning there's that variegated banding that you see on a normal record, which tells you where the songs end and begin. And they've selected like movements of the large song into smaller pieces, so that they could maybe play like a 3-minute single on the radio. So that was a really cool piece that he showed from my contest, and that made me want to pull that out and listen to it. And that's a great record. And when I did, I pulled this out and listened to it too. This is one of my coding systems. This means it's a good enough copy to listen to, but it definitely needs an upgrade. And this has a scratch on it. So this is Minstrel in the Gallery, also by Jethro Tull. I believe this was the record before the record after Passion Play. And listening to the two of those kind of made me realize one of the things I need to do this year is part of the classics, the project to upgrade some classics, is to upgrade those Jethro Tull records. You know, UK first pressings of most Jethro Tull records are actually highly affordable. You can get a lot of them for like 20 to 30 bucks, so that's one of the things I'm going to be looking for. And well, that's it. That's I had a couple minutes preamble at the beginning, and 10 minutes of records. I want to keep these to 10 minutes so that they're not overly long, because I got a stack of records here. I mean, I got lots of stuff I can still talk about, so I can do another one of these. But I don't want to make them like 35 minutes. That's not the point. So these are the things I've been listening to that are out of my collection. Boy with the Arab Strap, Yes album, Steve Miller Band's 5, a couple Blue Notes here, and a couple Tull albums. And you know, I really enjoyed all of them. I want upgrade copies of. I got an upgrade copy of this, I think, the other day, so I'm happy with that. It's not a UK, but I got a first US. But I want to upgrade like that. Both of the Blue Notes need upgraded, and both of the Tulls need upgraded to UK. So, you know, it's kind of giving me a chance to kind of look and focus, you know, where I might want to do a little spending money on the acquisition front. So that is Retracing the Groove 1. And anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning.